Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are serving up something truly special for all you aspiring young chefs out there, or honestly, anyone who just loves a foolproof, step-by-step guide in the kitchen. We're diving right into the art of making the ultimate homemade mac and cheese from scratch. By breaking this explainer down, we're going to learn exactly how to craft a dish that's absolutely perfect for lunch, dinner, family meals, or even those big holiday get-togethers. So let's jump right into this delicious journey and get cooking.
So here is our game plan for today. First up, the ultimate mac and cheese. Then, gathering your ingredients, cooking the perfect pasta, making the magic cheese sauce, and finally, mixing, baking, and serving.
Section 1. The ultimate mac and cheese.
Creamy, cheesy, rich, incredibly comforting. I mean, just hearing those words makes you hungry, right? We aren't just making dinner here. We are making a bowl of pure comfort. When you make mac and cheese completely from scratch, instead of just dumping it out of a box, you get total control over the texture and the flavor profile. By the end of our time together today, you're going to know exactly how to hit every single one of those amazing sensory notes.
All right, Section 2. Gathering your ingredients. Any good chef knows you need to prep your arsenal before turning on the stove. We've got two main teams here. For the pasta team, you'll need 2 cups of elbow macaroni. That's about 225 grams, some water for boiling, and a teaspoon of salt. Then, over on the cheese sauce team, grab 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 2 cups of whole milk, and hey, an optional cup of heavy cream if you want to make it extra rich. For our powerhouse cheese trio, we're going with 2 cups of sharp cheddar, 1 cup of mozzarella, and a half cup of Parmesan, plus some essential seasonings we'll talk about in a minute. Getting everything organized like this just makes the whole process so much easier.
Section 3. Cooking the perfect pasta.
Now that everything is prepped, it's time to build our foundation. Get a large pot of salted water up to a rolling boil and add your macaroni. The absolute most crucial thing here is the timing. You want to cook it for about 7 to 8 minutes. We're looking for what chefs call al dente. It basically just means the pasta is cooked, but it still has a little bit of firmness or bite to it. Seriously, whatever you do not overcook your pasta right here. Remember, it's going to keep cooking later when we mix it into that hot cheese sauce.
But wait, before you drain it, I've got a huge pro tip for you. Save a 1/4 cup of that pasta water in case you want to thin the sauce later. That cloudy water is basically culinary gold. It's packed with starches from the macaroni, which means if your cheese sauce ends up a little too thick, splashing some of this water in will thin it out beautifully without ruining that rich flavor. So drain the pasta, but definitely set that little cup of water to the side.
Section 4. The magic cheese sauce.
Okay, this is my absolute favorite part. This is where simple ingredients turn into magic. But first, we need to demystify a fancy culinary word, roux. A roux is simply a mixture of melted butter and all-purpose flour. Whisk continuously over medium heat for 1 to 2 minutes, used as a base to create a smooth, creamy sauce. You just melt your 2 tablespoons of butter, add the 2 tablespoons of flour, and keep it moving. It cooks off that raw flour taste and builds the secret engine that powers a perfectly smooth cheese sauce.
So, let's break down how this builds into our final masterpiece. Step 1, you whisk the flour and butter to make your roux. Step 2, you slowly pour in your 2 cups of milk, and that optional cream if you're using it. You gotta whisk this constantly, guys. That is how you prevent those gross lumps. Let it cook for about 3 to 5 minutes until it thickens up. Then, and do not skip this detail, turn your heat down to low. For step 3, you drop in your cheddar, mozzarella, and Parmesan just a handful at a time, melting them gently until the whole thing is flawlessly smooth. Now, the perfect cheese sauce isn't just about the dairy. You need depth of flavor. Once your cheese is fully melted, stir in exactly a half teaspoon of garlic powder, a half teaspoon of onion powder, and a half teaspoon of paprika. Then, finish it off with some salt and black pepper to taste. This exact blend cuts right through all that richness and gives your sauce an irresistible savory punch.
And finally, Section 5. Mixing, baking, and serving.
We have arrived at the grand finale. Gently stir until every piece of pasta is coated in the creamy cheese sauce. Take your al dente macaroni, drop it right into the saucepan, and fold it all together. Now, if it's looking a bit too thick, this is the exact moment to pour in a splash of that reserved pasta water we talked about. Honestly, you could grab a spoon and eat it straight out of the pot right now. It is that good.
But for those of you who want an awesome textural crunch to contrast with that creamy pasta, we've got an optional crispy topping. Just transfer all your mac and cheese into a baking dish, then mix a half cup of breadcrumbs with 2 tablespoons of melted butter in a small bowl, and just sprinkle that buttery mixture evenly over the entire top.
Pop that dish into an oven preheated to exactly 375 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 190 degrees Celsius. You're going to bake it for just about 15 minutes. Keep a close eye on it, though. You're looking for that magical moment when the edges are bubbling and the breadcrumb topping turns a beautiful, crunchy, golden brown.
And there you have it. Spoon it into bowls, top with parsley and extra Parmesan, and serve hot. Just carefully pull it out of the oven, plate it up, and with a little fresh parsley and extra cheese sprinkled on top, it's going to look like it came straight out of a five-star restaurant. Serve it right away while it's still wildly hot and gooey.
You've now got the ultimate foundational blueprint, but the coolest part about cooking is making a recipe your own. So I want to leave you with the question to ponder before your next culinary adventure. What is your favorite cheese to use in mac and cheese? Maybe next time you swap the mozzarella for some smoky Gouda, or maybe throw in some Monterey Jack for a kick. Think about it, get creative, and most importantly, keep on cooking. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll catch you next time.